Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into a massive, highly ambitious blueprint right off the bat. What we're unpacking is an integrated strategy designed to transform Ukraine into a global hub for quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and what the source material fascinatingly calls metaphysical wisdom. We're going to look specifically at the Nexus Academy and how it's teaming up with the Nordic-Baltic 8, or NBC-8, for a massive joint project. We're talking quantum computers seamlessly integrated with a high-tech agritech ecosystem known as Khutirets 6.0.
Here is our incredibly packed roadmap for today. 1. The phase transition. 2. Nexus Academy. 3. Khutirets 6.0 Living Lab. 4. Carpathian Technological Sparta. 5. Global Integration Blueprint. And 6. Truskavets 2027 Platform. Let's get right into it. The sources kick things off with a pretty profound question. How exactly do we survive humanity's ultimate phase transition? According to the documents, we are currently in the middle of a massive global crisis of internal energy. You know the feeling, right? You sleep 8 full hours, drink plenty of water, do everything right, but you still wake up feeling completely and utterly drained. Well, the text argues our internal architecture is totally out of sync. We fixate on our physical bodies, but we completely ignore the sheer, crushing exhaustion caused by constant digital noise and systemic entropy.
The absolute core of this problem is a severe imbalance. The documents make the case that humanity has completely mastered horizontal progress, meaning, our external tech, artificial intelligence, and raw computational power. But we severely lag behind in vertical progress. That's the development of inner wisdom and what the text beautifully terms structural love. Because of this massive imbalance, the blueprint warns that we essentially function as biorobots, or, and this is a stark quote, children with thermonuclear weapons. We wield this staggering external complexity, but we totally lack the internal maturity to handle it.
All right, moving right along to sections 1 and 2, the phase transition and the Nexus Academy.
To fix this imbalance, enter the Nexus Academy. This is a fascinating joint initiative between Ukraine and the Nordic-Baltic 8. The name itself is loaded with meaning. L represents divine power or metaphysical wisdom, while M stands for emergence, as in emergent AI. The Academy essentially acts as a bridge. It harmonizes cutting-edge tech like quantum computing with daily protocols for meaningful living. And the ultimate goal? To train what they call system engineers of consciousness. We're talking about creating scalable, real-world solutions in fields like quantum agriculture, sustainable climate resilience, and even global digital diplomacy.
This philosophy is practically anchored in a really brilliant approach to the cybernetic rehabilitation of veterans called the body-brain family model. It's not just about fixing the physical body. By integrating advanced brain-computer interfaces directly with the veteran's family ecosystem, the whole dynamic shifts. It actually transforms a veteran from a passive object of social care into an active, vital participant in a high-tech nation. It's a total game-changer.
Okay, zooming out a bit, that brings us to section 3, the Khutirets 6.0 Living Lab.
So how do these rehabilitated individuals integrate into the broader society? This is where the Khutirets 6.0 platform comes in. Originally, this was a Ukrainian-developed agritech system, but has now been expanded with serious quantum capabilities. But honestly, it's way more than just farming tech. It represents a complete paradigm shift. The old model of people just being a passive audience is dead. Khutirets 6.0 is all about creating sovereign community nodes, built entirely on trust, shared missions, and an algorithmic conscience. That basically means technology inherently designed to support ethical, shared goals rather than just maximizing ad engagement. To actually build this out, the blueprint designates Ukraine itself as a massive live lab. The documents highlight a crucial historic transition here. Ukraine has to move from merely being a consumer of Western technology to becoming a primary global developer and integrator.
The mechanics of this live lab work on a continuous infinity loop. Imagine continuously capturing terabytes of live, entirely non-simulated battlefield and civilian data. This raw, real-world data is rapidly processed to refine AI algorithms in the most extreme conditions imaginable. It turns raw, gritty experience into unparalleled software superiority, and it does this in weeks rather than years.
Of course, an ecosystem this ambitious requires serious capital, right? So the strategy lays out a robust, tripartite financial model based on 3 pillars. First, the state provides base medical guarantees. Second, international donors supply cutting-edge hardware in exchange for completely unique, real-world clinical data.
And third, local manufacturing creates domestic joint ventures to build things like exoskeletons and neuroimplants at a fraction of the usual cost. It's a highly synergistic loop.
That takes us to the macro-regional level in Section 4, the Carpathian Technological Sparta. Here is where the vision gets truly massive. The Carpathian region is envisioned not just as a piece of geography on a map, but as a full-blown AI-driven territorial operating system known as AGI Hub Eden. It literally links defense innovation, energy independence, industrial resilience, and climate security into one single cohesive, automated neural node.
So what does this actually mean for the rest of the world? By leveraging this unique setup, Ukraine effectively transforms into the European synthetic data fortress. It takes all that raw survival data we talked about and turns it into highly valuable synthetic datasets. These specific datasets are going to be absolutely essential for training autonomous navigation and edge AI for Western democracies. In essence, Ukraine becomes a massive global donor of critical survival technology to the West.
The physical manifestation of all this is the Trans-Carpathian R&D Corridor. It's a dedicated physical zone that seamlessly blends the rugged, natural terrain of the Carpathian Mountains with fully autonomous settlements, high-tech joint ventures, and blazing high-speed data streams.
Let's look at how the rest of the world fits into this in Section 5, the Global Integration Blueprint.
You can't build a technological Sparta without a strict geopolitical framework to shift from state aid to massive private capital. So the blueprint assigns each global superpower a very specific track within this Transcarpathian cluster. The EU acts as the infrastructure ram, utilizing Connecting Europe facility funding for railways and energy, specifically syncing up with the Klaipėda to Thessaloniki corridor. The U.S. steps in to provide the security plateau, using Development Finance Corporation investments to focus heavily on AI cyber defense, securing the 3 Cs initiative, and enhancing NATO military mobility. Meanwhile, China focuses on logistics and deep processing, funding dry ports and massive trade hubs along this new transit corridor. It's a highly pragmatic, neutral architecture.
On top of that, a massive chunk of the funding mechanism relies on strategic synergies with Nordic development finance institutions, places like FinFund, Norfund, and the Nordic Investment Bank. These institutions are stepping up to provide the vital risk capital and competitive loans needed. They are laser-focused on target sectors like green energy, quantum agriculture, and AI infrastructure. The ultimate goal here is brilliant: directly bridge incredible Ukrainian engineering talent with deep Nordic capital through joint projects.
Finally, we reach our last section, Section 6, the Khutirets 2027 platform.
The timeline for scaling this up is, quite frankly, staggering. Following the initial pilot launches of AGI Hub Eden and the Khutirets prototypes in 2026, the strategy pushes directly toward a massive milestone in April 2027. All of this is designed to culminate in the total macro integration of the Arctic, Baltic, Carpathian, and Black Sea corridors by the year 2030.
That April 2027 date is absolutely critical. The 4th Scandinavian platform, called the Carpathian Sea Gathering in Khutirets, will serve as the premier diplomatic stage. The source documents literally include architectural templates for the official invitations to the global powers. The EU is invited to formally synchronize this cluster with the 10T transport network. The US is called to adapt the infrastructure for rapid NATO military mobility, and China is formally invited to commercialize the vast new transit corridor stretching all the way from Greenland down to the Bosphorus.
The source material leaves us with a truly provocative thought, stating outright, the era of declarations is over. Those who build their own technological fortresses will survive. Ultimately, this blueprint argues that whether you're focusing on the vertical progress of personal metaphysical awakening or the horizontal progress of quantum agriculture and synthetic data fortresses, survival in this new era demands actual action over mere diplomatic promises. So, as humanity navigates this ultimate phase transition, the question is, are we ready to build both our inner and outer fortresses? Think about that for a second and keep exploring.